We're back. It's time for the 2024 Urban NerdCon. Join us in Atlanta, Georgia, April 26th through the 28th at the Cortland Grand Hotel. Special guests include Underworld creator Kevin Grievous, Gary Gray from Fairly Odd Parents, from Nickelodeon, Giovanni Samuels, the Science Machine Michael Green, the Sci-Fi Sisters, and from Spaceballs and Star Trek Voyager, Tim Russ.
Hi, I'm Tim Russ. Join me April 26th through the 28th at the Cortland Grand Hotel in Atlanta, Georgia for the Urban NerdCon. Our heroes, our villains, our stories. Everyone con. I'll see you there. Live long and prosper.
Visit theurbannerdcon.net to get your buy one, get one free badges before the price increases. Remember, our heroes, our villains, our stories. Everyone's con. See you there.
All right. Welcome to another live episode of the O&G StrikeZone on a beautiful Wednesday night. Bryan Fulford, Marcus Green, and Kelvin Rozier jumping in, joining us. Eddie Kane Jr. or Eddie Kane the third. We like to leave Eddie Kane Jr. to Kofi. Maybe Eddie Kane the third over here. Marcus, while we let Kelvin get his situation together, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. A little weary, but
you still grinding at the job, the day one job. They still putting you to work.
Yeah, at least through the middle of April, at least through the end of April.
I heard that sigh of yeah. That was real, boy. I tell you what, that was real. Oh man. Well, hey, brighter days are ahead, Marcus. Brighter days are ahead. Kelvin, you're looking kind of sporty there. How you doing this evening, man? What you got going on there?
Man, I'm struggling. But Marcus, do not let the man put his foot on your neck. Power to the people. I got your back, brother. CMB. We got.
That's right.
Doing good, Bryan. Doing well.
You looking country club fresh, boy. Look at that. Was that a cardigan, a polo? What is that? What is that gear?
Man, legacy, history,
it's
pride.
I think it's called a rugby shirt.
A rugby shirt. Look at.
I think that's what it's called.
I don't know what it's called, man. You put it. Hey, you stick a rattler on it. That family logo. Hey, I'm getting it. It's done. So
bought. That reminds me. I want us to going into this third year now. We got to figure out a way how to capitalize on all these, or capitalize and promote all these great vendors. I'm thinking maybe like a vendor of the month kind of idea. Yeah, but just saying like every
bring
month.
Them on. Let's do a show. I agree with you. I'm with you.
Well, I instead of bringing them all on, I'm saying like every month we have a particular vendor. Maybe we can work with them, be an affiliate. We send people, they give us a code, and maybe people who listen to the show and buy merch for that particular month can get maybe a little discount. Just something to promote them. Something to help us. But all in the spirit of monetizing and promoting all these great gear, this great gear that's out there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
agree. Love the idea.
All right, cool. We'll start working on that.
And I have my, I think, what do they call that on Twitter? A list. I have a list of about 7 or 8 that I follow. So
that's where we need to start, Marcus. We need to start with that and hit one up at a time. Maybe send a letter out to all of them and kind of just go from there and say, hey, we'd like to be an affiliate sponsor for the month, and kind of work with you on some unique gear or something. You know what I'm saying? I think
we have some contacts, and of course we can always talk with Ms. Thompson and get that list of vendors, and it's on the website for our vendor who our licensed vendor 2CLC.
Yeah.
Now the one thing with my list is that it's mostly apparel, but we have so much more than that, so we don't want to narrow our focus to just things we can wear, but there's other FAMU paraphernalia and purchase items and collect.
No, I'm right there. I'm right there with you. Yeah, right there with you. All right. So today's episode of the O&G StrikeZone. Hey, before I get into talking about that, everybody do me a favor. All of you who jumped in early, wherever you're watching us at, whether you're watching on Facebook, whether you're watching us on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button or the like button, however you're watching them. Say hello to our friends watching us on Instagram. Those watching us on X, whether it be on our O&G StrikeZone or the Black College Sports Network. We are a part of the Black College Sports Network, which is a part of Jericho Broadcast Network's parent company. So we appreciate you, but more importantly, you do us a solid if you hit that thumbs up button and if you get a chance, go ahead and share the show. Go ahead and let your people know that you're watching the show, that you checked in, and let us know where you're from. Let us know, just like Gail checking in from Cleveland. Cleveland, this is for you. Good to see you.
What's up, Miss Gail?
Good to see you.
Man, you sound like you on the airplane with Puffy.
No. See, you
let's not start that one.
With that one, I'm like, whoa, back up. I'm gonna be like 50. I'm gonna be like 56. I don't mess with no puff parties.
Where they do that at?
I don't mess with no puff party. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. That's why I was always down with the West Coast. Anyway, hey, right. Let's go, man. Look, let's do basketball heavy show today. We got our good friend of the program, Coach Erica Cromartie from over at FAMU DRS, aka known as
The High.
Thank you, Marcus. Thank you for being ready, Marcus. See,
there you go, Marcus. That's what I'm talking about.
Way to be ready, Marcus. I love it. Of course, she's the head women multi-state championship coach over at the FAMU DRS. We're going to bring her on. We're going to talk hoops. We're going to talk about things going on with her and the program. Also, get a good feel of this women's college basketball tournament. I mean, not just it's a good week. The last week was a good week for HBCU programs. I believe we still have one. We still have one in that's still playing postseason. Is A&T still playing? Yeah, A&T is still playing. They're still in it, still alive. So we'll talk about just college basketball, and then in hour 2 we're gonna really break down the men's basketball program. A lot of interesting angles, but we got to understand the history of this program, especially over the last 40 years. I mean, man, let me take that back. It's longer. Is it 40? Yeah, about 43 years now, since 1980. It's whoo, I tell you, but
it's dark.
It's dark. It is dark. It is dark. It's very dark when you look at it from a macro perspective. And man, I'll tell you, and we've got some interesting candidates. No shortage of people interested in this job, but we're going.
Now, are those people who have expressed interest or names that we like?
Both. Okay. Both. I do know. Kelvin knows for a fact. I know for a fact. And then there's a little bit of both. Like I said, there is a little bit of both. Everybody's got a list. You know, I think when I put it out there, and we'll talk about the poll, I put out a Twitter poll and just some feelers to kind of see, you know, what Rattler Nation or the people who follow us, where they, and man, I tell you, there's all kinds of names and just ideas and thoughts. So, you know, we'll talk about that. But let's get into doing the roll call real quick before we get into the Rattler Roundup of the greatness of our FAMU athletic programs over the weekend. And we started off with none other than our man Bull checking in first in.
What's up, Bull?
Good to see you, Bull. Jimmy Matt jumping in as well. Any Rattlers in the house?
Bull jumped in before we even logged in.
He did. Bull was in. If the timestamp, Bull was like, man, let me go ahead and pull this up and get ready. Get the popcorn ready, get the drinks ready, man. I see you, Bull. We see you sitting there on the recliner, chilling, watching the show. That's love, man. Appreciate you. Melissa Wilson checking in.
Duh.
Amen. All right. Good to see you, Melissa. Meredith. Good to see you, Meredith. There you go. Ken, family, checking in the incognito account. Mary 305. Good to see you, Mary. Hollow. Good to see you, Hollow. Way to go. Good to see you, Rattler.
Hello,
Hollow. Good to see you. Hello, Hollow. Demetra Alford. Good to see you. I know you. I saw Demetra in the chats, 220 Club this afternoon. Boy, we'll talk about that. We will get to it. So I see some people already 38 hot, still hot. I'm like, damn, my husband, how long has it been? Y'all don't let it ruin your dinner too. That's all I'm gonna say. It might have ruined your lunch, but don't let it ruin your dinner.
I must have missed it.
Oh yeah, you missed it. It was good stuff. Good TV. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Duval in the house. Good to see you, Marvin. Thank you for checking in with us. Good. Steve, there you go. Yeah. Hey, look, Mr. Campbell, good to see you. But look, I'll tell you like
I'm
this.
I'm gonna wait, Mr. Campbell.
We're gonna wait. We'll wait.
We're gonna talk about it.
We're gonna talk about it. Hey, look. Hey, I played the Powerball. Powerball is what, $1 billion? If I can play the Powerball, huh?
Somebody won it.
No, not the whole thing.
That was Magle. Wasn't it?
Oh, okay. Somebody won $1.1 billion. I saw it somewhere up in New Jersey.
In Jersey, yeah.
Oh, that was the mega.
Yeah.
Somebody hit that?
Yep.
Damn. All right. Well, that's all right. Powerball's almost there as well. So
it's the
anyway,
night, right?
my point was, hey, if I could play a lotto ticket, I sure enough can spend a few bucks on a raffle ticket. That's all I'm gonna say. Good to see you, Ashton. Thanks for checking in.
Scalability. The return is different.
I know it is.
$1 billion.
I know.
$1 billion.
Exactly. Jay Hunter, yes, we did get a chance to see it. We'll talk about it here coming up. Ashley C, good to see your family. Thanks for checking in. Tony, what up, brother? Good to see you. Tony, I'm gonna get to your questions
a little bit later.
Yeah, I know. I started. Yeah, I started. What up, Rattler? AWMS. Good to see you. Look, EA. I told you, EA still hot. Still 38 mad from this afternoon. Boy, I tell you, just don't let it get to you, EA. Don't let it get to you. I know. It's tough. Guess what? Checking in from Monroe, Louisiana. Chuck.
What's up, Chuck?
Boy, Chuck, that UL Monroe, they put a beating on Grambling women. I mean, that was uncalled for. That was unexpected. Let me just say it like that. I ain't expected it to be like that.
Where it is, the refs, the refs were paid to make sure.
Kelvin, when you beat somebody by 30, I don't know if the refs have anything to do.
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it. I'm just saying. Everything was a foul. That's what they said.
Hey, I cut it on and it was like, damn. Keith, what's up? Things Up Podcast. Keith checking in.
What's up,
good to see you. Make sure you check out Keith, Things Up Podcast, every Thursday night and Sunday night on all of these YouTube and Twitter streets. Make sure you check out Things Up Podcast. Good to see you. Calvin, good to appreciate you. Appreciate you as well. Checking in Let me see. Thumbs up. He's not in Tallahassee. I don't know where you at, Kelvin, but appreciate you checking in. Thanks for hitting that thumbs up button. Good to see you. Let's see. Shako, appreciate it. Rattler Mania, appreciate you checking in. Good to see you. Kelvin Chavis checking in. The church league coach replied. Hey, I saw somebody put my name in the mix. I'm like, well, hey, you heard when she said a JV assistant coach. I was like, wait a minute. I know I didn't. She talking about me? She talking about a JV coach and put their name. I'm like, come on now, Sykes. That wouldn't call for it. I wouldn't call for it. You had to put me out there like that. I thought my interest was incognito, but man, she put me out.
I missed the advertisement. Where they advertising it
at? That was a great question because that came up. And I want to say, you know what? Somebody who heard the actual time, and she stated it, and I almost swore I heard something about like it had been posted and closed, and she was reopening it. I could be wrong there, so somebody correct me.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about no search firm advertisement, so yeah, I missed that part. If she said it.
Well, the search firm. I don't know about the search firm. I know we got a committee that's going to be headed by Tommy Mitchell. I heard that.
Okay,
and a few other people. Okay, yeah. She said it's not out yet. Okay, all right. Well, but I'm sure the phone is blowing up.
Yeah.
She's getting recommendations from John Calipari, which I don't know. Dude, that's the last person I want to hear from, given the way his team performed in the NCAA tournament. I'm sorry. I'm like, Coach Cal, you might need to clean your own house. You might need to hire somebody instead of trying to pass off somebody to an HBCU. I'm just saying.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Very, very. What up, Marcus? Good to see you, Marcus.
What's up,
Little
Marcus?
baby, all checking in. Will Davis. Good to see you, Will. Where we at on the search? Nowhere, Will. No news. But we will talk about it, though, today. We will talk about it. Yeah. We're going to get into talking about the major factors. Two things to consider here as we get, in the second hour, we're going to get heavy into the men's basketball. But I want everybody to kind of consider what are the qualities, or what do you think this coach is going to have to be successful? And I have maintained that right now, FAMU basketball program is a D2/NAIA program wearing a Division I suit. Now, you may disagree, but we walk like, operate like what I seen the Division II and some NAIA programs in terms of how we move. But we are dressed in this Division I outfit. So I don't know, just something to think about. Something to think about. Okay, you guys ready to get going with a little roundup here before we get into the bottom of the hour with our first guest?
Let's do it.
All right. Sounds good. Let's start it off with you want to talk teams or news? Teams or news? Your call. What do you guys want to start with?
I'm gonna let Marcus call.
Start with teams.
Teams. All right. Teams performing. All right. Here we go. Well, let me see. We got we can always start with the success on the field from the baseball team. Well, maybe not. It ended somewhat well for the baseball team. I was thinking you were
softball.
I thought Mark, you threw me for a curveball there. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I was ready to go news, but Marcus threw a curve. Let's start with softball. We'll start with softball. There we go. The Lady Rattlers took 2 out of 3 against Jackson State on the road. Against Jackson State, taking 2 out of the 3 games. Friday night, in game one, we actually got out hit. If you believe that, got out hit by Jackson State 6-3 in terms of hits. No, excuse me. We out hit Jackson State 6-3. Ended up losing the game 10-1. Now that's odd. That's like it's hard to do the math on that until you go and look at the box score and you
a lot
see
of errors.
Yeah, well, not quite errors, but more so one particular inning turned out to be our bugaboo, and that was the third inning. Rattlers were down 2-1 going in the bottom of the third. We gave up 7 runs. And
I'm in a walk.
Yeah, that's what did it. That's what did it in that particular inning. I think we gave up 2 or 3 walks. Then Jackson State got one of their 3 hits. Then we had some more walks.
Arrow.
And then another hit. Yeah. So it was like we committed 3 errors. So, I mean, in the contest overall. So it really was a bad inning that turned out to be the bugaboo for us. Where the only, we did score, we only scored 1 run. That was in the second. But that third inning kind of hurt us. And so you end up losing game 1 10-1.
But story don't end there.
No, not so exactly. It does not end there because
resurrection is the next day.
it is, and that's what we needed, and we got it in 2 games against Jackson State. Where in the first game of the doubleheader on Saturday, freshman Zariana Hughes, who is 6-2 on the year as a starter, got the win. She went all 7 innings, only gave up 2 runs. 1 of them was earned, allowed 4 hits, a walk, struck out 4. The Rattlers got into now the great, when I looking at these great stats, the Rattlers' highest scoring inning was the 6th inning when they pushed 3 runs across the plate. At that point, the score was tied up at 2, and so we scored 3 in the 6th. Overall, we out hit Jackson State again, this time 12-4, and we were 7 of 10 with runners in scoring position. So that's another great job done by the Rattlers. Anaya Canty was 2 for 3 with a double and an RBI in the contest. And then if that wasn't enough, we shut it down in game number 2. Samantha Smith on the mound in game 3. She pitched a 3-hit shutout. Went every inning, I think all 7 innings, shut down Jackson State. We won 8-0. Donut. So that improves, that we get another series. That's our 3rd SWAC series. And actually, if you look at the record now, guys, the team is 12-14 overall, 8-1, tied for first in the SWAC East. Talk a little bit about that. Remember where we started and what we were kind of like dreading, but man, I tell you, all those tough games early method to the madness, right?
Mm-hmm. And I think the youth movement's paying off. I mean, Zoriana Hughes is a true freshman. I believe she's out of Columbia, Lake City. And Anaya Canty, I think she's one of the Georgia contingent. There's like 2 or 3 from Georgia. So all those freshmen are coming through in a good mix with the upperclassmen. In addition to the transfer, Samantha Smith, between hitting and pitching, she's been as advertised.
Yeah, I think she's putting her name up there for I don't know. I know they obviously have an outstanding hitter of the year and a pitcher of the year, but how about just if they just an overall player of the year award? I got to go look up the awards. I know it's early; we hadn't hit the halfway point of the season, but she's putting her name in the mix for one of those awards. I went and looked at some of the stats for our team right now, and we're going into a series this weekend in Daytona Beach against Bethune-Cookman. Bethune's also tied it with us at 8-1 record. So this is a big series. The only other team that record in the conference is Prairie View. Prairie View right now, I think they're unbeaten 8-0 in the SWAC, and obviously we don't see them because East and West don't really cross paths during the regular season. So it's real important for us in terms of seeding to keep the winning going. So this is a big series. This is probably to date biggest series for the team on the season. We're second.
I believe, Bryan, I believe, just a note to this series, I think this is the only time we play them.
Really, we don't do the two.
It's very unusual. No, usually two, but now I didn't go back and validate this, but that's what someone mentioned to me.
Well, that makes it even bigger, because if we took 2 out of 3 against Jackson State, I know we see Jackson State again because we host Jackson State the weekend of the spring game. So that's pretty huge that this is the only time we see. So it's very important in terms of seeding, potential tiebreakers when it comes down to the SWAC tournament to get this one over Bethune, because that would put Bethune or whoever finishes second in the East ends up on the other side of the bracket, matched up with the top dog in the West, which right now looks to be Prairie View. But
they're not on the schedule.
Not on the schedule. So Marcus, good job, confirmed it. Yeah, we're not on the schedule. So this is it. This is it.
How that happens, I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't know why you're not playing. I mean, look, you're only playing. Let me see. That's 5 teams. 5 teams. That's 5 times 2. That's 10.
Well, it's 15 games.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how that's not happening. I mean, anyway, I don't understand the SWAC scheduling, but we'll figure it out eventually.
Well, it looks like we played Alabama A&M twice, home and away, Valley home and away, and Jackson home and away, and we just play Bama State and Bethune-Cookman once. Let me go back through.
The 2 closest schools in the East. Yeah.
I hope that's rotating. I hope that's a rotating thing that they do within the division.
Well, they still shouldn't do that. Your rivals and your closest games should never rotate off.
Well, I guess, but I think it depends on how many conference games they're scheduling, because let me see. That's what you say. 3. Do the math here. 3 times 3, it's 9 times 2. That's 18. And then if you got 18, 21, 24, so 24 conference games. Am I doing the math right there? I know this is in the math show and it's after 8 o'clock. So, but there are only so many. Right. There are only so many conference games you're gonna play, unless they let you play 30. And I don't know if the SWAC does that. But
the point being, though, I could see you rotating home and away with Valley and
I think it is
Jackson State. But I don't understand why you would take the closest games. No budget is an issue, and rivalry games. That makes no sense.
Right. I got you. I'm with you. So once again, the ladies are in Daytona Beach. So if you're in the Daytona Beach area, or you can get out to go support, I think the Friday game is a 6 p.m. game. And then they have the doubleheader is noon and 2 o'clock. So if you can get out and go support Rattler Nation, they'd love to hear you. I think that's a feisty bunch. I remember they talk a lot of smack over in Daytona, their softball program. So that's a great rivalry, and hopefully any and everybody can get over there and support the ladies. It'd be good to get a sweep. It'd be good to take 2 out of 3 against Bethune. If we can't get the sweep, let's take 2 out of 3. All right, let's get ready to take our first break of the night. Come on with our first guest of the show, Coach Erica Cromartie. She'll be coming up here in just a second. You guys hang in there. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button or the like button. If you're watching us on YouTube and Facebook, we ask you to please do that when you can, if you can, right now. So we'll be back in just a couple of minutes right here. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
All right, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Bryan, Kelvin, Marcus, and then we got joining us special guest, friend of the program, Coach Erica Cromartie. Coach, how you doing?
Hey,
How
you guys doing tonight?
We
Doing well.
Yourself?
I'm
good to have you on.
Good.
How's everything going?
It's going okay. You know, it's tough, but we getting through it.
I definitely understand.
Yeah.
Let's kind of first let's catch people up with the past season before we get into more of the current news and things like that. But how was the past season for the Baby Rattlers?
The past season was a tough season for the Baby Rattlers. I had a real young team, and you know how that goes. You take your growing pains and you take your whips. So I think they learned a lot from it. It just doesn't feel good at times, but we did see some gains. So, I mean, you got to take it how it goes sometimes. I don't like it. I'm not used to it, but, you know, it doesn't feel good.
No. And when you have a tough season, what kind of things do you go through in the evaluation process and in the postseason? I mean, this is that time where you probably have given yourself a couple of weeks to, decompress, and pretty soon if you haven't already, you're already starting to think about the summer and even doing scheduling for next year. But what kind of things have you kind of looked at in terms of the evaluation of the past season, things you might do differently or tweak or improve going forward?
Well, really, it's just, as I said before, our school is very small. So a lot of our kids play multiple sports. So the girls I had now, they're playing softball and flag football. So I'm trying to get them to kind of like not stop the other sports, but kind of limit it, because you only become a basketball player when it's basketball season, and that's not going to work, So I have a couple girls that straight basketball. So this summer they're gonna get in the gym and just kind of work. But that's just the only down. I won't even say it's a downfall because at a small school you have that. I would say that's our only limitation that we have is that our kids play multiple sports. So I just told them we got to carve out some time for just basketball if you're gonna play it because you can't have it. You know what I mean? You know what I told them, but you can't have do it and see I go all in, that's just kind of how I was raised, is how I coach. And so I just feel like you kind of shorten my program when I only get half of you. So that's just what we got to do. We got to get in the gym and work, and I mean, and not just when the basketball season starts.
Yep, I understand 100. Kelvin, go ahead.
Coach, I'm wondering how many seniors you had on this team and how many girls you got returning.
I only had one senior, so that was a good thing. I had one that attended another school and played for us because her school didn't have a program. But other than that, I only had one in-house senior. So, I mean, that's the good thing to look at it, that I got a lot returning. I mean, and for the most part, I didn't have any discipline problems or anything like that. And I thank God for that. I've kind of never really had that. It's just the skill of itself, you know what I mean, of the game. But, I mean, I realize that I can't always be on one side of it. You got to go through both sides. So, it's just got to continue to work.
Okay. All right. Now, Coach, I want to go ahead and get on a different note, a different FAMU high note. We had the passing of one of the people who watched our shows and appeared on a couple of other podcasts, and we used to hear a staple around Tallahassee and FAMU
Yeah.
High specific your program specifically.
Oh,
So
yes.
just talk about Chaka Perkins and what that loss means to you.
Man, I met Chaka. So he's actually in the class with my oldest sister. They're a class of 91. So, and I arrived at FAMU High in 89. So I met Chaka a long time ago. And I just could remember before I even started playing basketball, he used to be around the boys basketball program. Well, any sport, but mostly I remember him being with Coach Lane with the boys basketball team. And he just, supported, never played, but never coached. He just was always around it. So then when I started playing in like the 5th grade, he started coming around us. And you just kind of respected Chaka. You just knew that, okay, he's going to be there. He has your best interest. He's going to support you. Listen to what he has to say. And I remember when I first started playing, he was like, man, you're going to be pretty good, but you just got to keep playing. And he just always stayed around. And then when I got in high school, he was there. I think he might have moved to DC my senior year, but he moved back. And when I started coaching at FAMU High School, he was the first one to reach out and said, look, I don't have to be on your staff. I don't have to do anything. I just want to support, and I'm going to find my way in what I want to do. And that's when he started doing the shirts. So all the shirts that you see, we have the state championship shirts, the season shirts, all that's Chaka Perkins. So to replace that, and not just the shirts, I mean, the shirt, he wouldn't even charge us. He would get the girl sizes, and then he would give the girl shirts. I mean, I think our second state championship, our shooter shirts, Chaka bought all that stuff. He would give me money to feed the girls. Like, he just was a really, really, really good person. And he's my brother. We would travel together, different games, go scout teams together. That one right there kind of hurt me right there.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Agreed. All right. And so to go from there, Coach, I see you all the time at the games and so forth. I saw you brought your team a couple of times.
Oh, definitely. Yes.
Right. So talk about what you saw as a fan and as a coach this year from the FAMU women's basketball program.
Oh man, I spoke with Coach Gordon. And I told her, man, I kind of already knew what she was gonna do because I already knew her, so I already knew what she was gonna bring to the program. I didn't expect it so fast, but hey, I mean, I think she's an excellent coach. I know she knows the game. I know she has the experience, but I thought it was gonna take a little bit more time. But man, she did it. She did it the first year. I'm so excited to see what else is going to come with that, because you can kind of just see it from this year once she get her players and once they start buying into her style and her way, like I would come to her practices and just sit there and watch and just take notes. And I mean, I think I knew when I seen that she had the job, I said they got it right this time, because I knew that what she was going to bring to the program. I think she's a phenomenal person, a phenomenal coach.
Yes, absolutely. All right, Marcus.
Coach, thanks for joining us this evening. I guess I have a double question. One, I'm kind of removed a little bit from it, but I've seen a lot of churn and changes in the FHSAA, and I don't know if any of the changes, either from a legislative standpoint or districts, has any impact on you or FAMU DRS.
Yes, more so the transfer. I mean, I know we talk about it in college, but it's in high school too. I mean, and I hate, and I don't want to make it seem as if that's why we kind of struggle, because those things happen. But maybe like before last, we lost 2 of our starters, to a school in Tallahassee, and it kind of helped us kind of decline in the wrong way, because we already have a small bunch to pull from anyway. So when you lose those 2 starters, it kind of like was a domino effect. And were they tampered with? I don't know. I don't even get into that or whatever. I just try to coach who I have there. So yeah, the transfer thing is just kind of like tough, because as soon as a player or a parent feel like something is better, you don't have them. And I don't care what kind of coach you are. If you don't have the players, it won't work. So things like that. And to me, I just feel like they're a little bit more lax with the players now. It's getting closer to like the college style, and I don't really like that.
Okay. And actually, my second question is kind of similar to that, but I guess you may have answered it a little bit, in that we've seen at the collegiate level and a lot of the social stuff going on since 2020, a kind of a harken back to HBCUs and a lot of, clamoring back, if you will. And I don't know if that's trickled down to FAMU DRS, where there may be some players who are like, you know what? I want to go to a school and have a coach that looks like me. Have you seen anything like that that's trickled down at the FAMU DRS?
No, I mean, it's kind of hard for us to, and I will say this, it's kind of hard for us to kind of get the cream of the crop as we had in the past, because so many other schools are just kind of so competitive now. We're small for one, and then we don't offer a lot of things that these other schools can offer. So it's kind of hard to retain those kids. You know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong, the kids we have there are excellent students, but to kind of compete with the bigger schools is just tough, because they offer so many other things that we just can't with our size and our enrollment. So it's kind of tough. It is kind of tough. But at the end of the day, I try to play and work with what I have. You know what I mean? Because I just feel like it's a reason I have what I have.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach, Marcus kind of talked about transferring, and I'm curious about, obviously you have a lot of connections, and I'm sure you talk with a lot of young people, young ladies, whether they be your former players or maybe players that are in school. But I'm seeing within just the SWAC, there's a lot of transfer, or at least jumping into the portal. I won't call it quite transferring yet, because they haven't officially gone anywhere. They just putting their name out there. But just, if you can, what are you hearing as maybe some of the reasons why you see so many players jumping into the portal? And that, feel free, that can even jump into the guys as well. But we're seeing a lot with the girls game, and maybe it's just because it hasn't been reported in the past couple of years, or maybe this really is a high volume number of kids. What's your take on what you're seeing from the number of kids jumping into the portal?
Well, I can't speak for all of it, because I don't know all the situations, but I know some of it has been, these kids are a little different. This generation they want instant gratification. They want microwave success. And, sometimes it doesn't work like that. Sometimes you got to work your way into the starting 5, work your way into that lineup. But they feel like the grass is greener over here, or this is a different situation, I can just run in and start. And you could go somewhere else and just instantly start. That doesn't mean it's going to be good for you. you might need those growing seasons where you sit back and watch somebody else play. And some of the reasons for the transfers are legitimate. Don't get me wrong. Some of them, they've been in tough situations and they're trying to find a different way. Then you have some that kind of realize, you know what, this school did recruit me before I went to this other school. I probably would do better here, so let me go here. So some of the reasons are legitimate, but then you have some that just feel like I didn't get my way over here, so let me try to get it over here. And to me, you won't never be successful that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. See, I always wonder because with the men's game, you hear about NIL always kind of being that catalyst for why kids might be jumping, but I don't really know what it is for the women's players, because I guess we don't see publicly as many. Maybe it's out there and we just aren't seeing it or hearing about it.
I've been seeing some recently, and some of them has been maybe coach changes, and then you have some that just don't like the style of a coach. It's various reasons for females. I will say that, and I thank God we didn't have it, because I remember when I was at Miles, they were like, "You're there for 4 years, stick it out, work it out," and that's just kind of how it was. It wasn't no, I'm leaving, going back home. No, you're there for 4 years, you can make it work, and I'm happy I did. But it's so many options they have now till it's crazy.
Definitely. Go ahead, Kelvin.
Coach, let me just say, first of all, I love it because and Coach Gordon is the same way. But you old school, Coach.
Yes, sir. And I think that's why I like Coach Gordon's style so much. Is because I told her, I was like, Coach, I like the fact that you get on them, right? But you tell them why. But I love it because she gonna tell you what's going on, and I love that because sometimes they don't understand what's really going on, and I think they know that she does care for them still at the same time.
Right. Absolutely. So the women's, I would tell you, I pay more attention to women's basketball in college than I do the men's game. I love the women's game. Got they're the ones with all the real superstars this season particularly, but over the last couple of seasons, now, because they use that platform, their voice to expose some of the inequity in terms of resources and assets in their tournament. I love everything about it. I love the coaching. I love that the players, coming at each other.
It's great.
Talk about it. That's my question.
I did my bracket. We did our brackets at work, and I told them, I was like, okay, I'll do the men's, but I really wasn't following it like that. I'm still leading them both brackets, but my women's bracket, they said I might have missed. Like, I'm leading everybody because I'm barely missing teams because I love the game so much. I know what these teams are gonna do. Now you have some that's gonna surprise you, like, dang, I didn't think they was gonna do that. But for the most part, you kind of if you've been watching it, you know the game, you know what these teams are gonna do. So my women's bracket is great. Like, I should have put it in the ESPN thing and got some money from that. But that's because it's so exciting. You know what I mean? Like, I love the women's game, and I pray one day I can get on that level. But it's like you said, it's just, I rush to get home to watch some of those games. The men's games are not bad, but it's like it's missing something. It's just not as exciting as the women's game.
Agreed, definitely.
Hold on, Cole. I got my pen out. Go. Who's your 4? Let me go ahead and write this down now.
No, I can't. I gotta charge you, but I'm giving it to you. I gotta charge you.
Hey, Coach. Anything I win, Coach, I'm sending 50% to you. So look, let's go ahead and hear it.
South Carolina, okay?
South Carolina off rip. They're gonna win it. I pray anyway, because last year they lost at the wrong time. And I told my coworker, I was like, if you're going to lose early, not in the playoffs. But I think this year they got it. I pray they do. I put them as my national championship team. For the men, I put UNC. See, I'm going to tell you how I don't really watch it. I put UNC. I only seen them play one time, so I don't know about that.
That's not a bad choice on the men's side.
Yeah.
What's the other in the Final Four? Because I'm all for.
I had UNC. I had USC. Who else did I have? I gotta pull it up.
That's USC. That's USC women, right?
Yeah.
Did you? Who went in the Iowa bracket?
Who were they playing against? Was it LSU?
I think Isn't that LSU either?
Yeah.
Potentially.
I put LSU over Iowa. I did because one thing
Oh.
about LSU, they turn it on when it's postseason, like a light bulb go off with them. Like they become dogs when it's the postseason, and I think they're gonna make some noise. I do, and I forgot who the other ones I had.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. Mark.
The Texas region.
Who was with them?
Texas.
I have Texas over. Was it Stanford? Somebody. I had Texas going to the Final Four. I did.
Texas. Okay. All
And
right.
the reason why I said that, they lost their best player, the point guard, and they still got number 1 seed. And he put a forward as a guard to play point guard. That's hard to do. That is really hard to do. And the fact that they're still balling, I was like, they might do something. I love this time of the year if y'all can't see that.
Yeah, Texas is the 1 seed. They're in the bracket with they play Gonzaga, and then they're on the other side. You got NC State and Stanford on the other side.
You know what? I picked NC State over Stanford.
Ooh, okay.
I did.
Coach,
I did.
Well, you took my bracket.
Because I picked NC State Tennessee. I picked NC State for that. Because it's something about NC State when they get okay.
Strong stuff. Marcus,
but I ain't too sold on Stanford all the way.
Yeah. I've seen them have a few struggles against who was it? Utah? Was it Iowa State?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They barely got through on them.
That's pretty good too, but I don't see them going too far.
Yeah. Marcus, what you got? You got anything for Coach?
Coach, what do you think? Even though it's, I don't know, 8-9 months off, what do you think will be your biggest challenge for next season?
Well, it's kind of tough with that because I always start off with a goal and then mid-season I've changed it to something else because God always showed me something totally different. And I used to question it like, okay, Lord, you let me see so much on the high side. And now it's like you're saying, okay, now you got to see both sides, which I truly will accept. But the main thing I want the girls to get from it is to understand what hard work can get you. I'm not even saying, we got to win a state championship because not trying to say all that, but I've done that. You know what I mean? So now I would love to have more, don't get me wrong, but if I don't, it's not like we just, you know what I'm saying, we're terrible. No, it's not make or break. I want them to learn how to work hard and see what hard work can do. Even if that's a district championship, you get a scholarship, or you'll just be better off in life. I think some of the times this generation is lacking hard work. They want to do it for a little bit, and then they want to see results. It might not happen right then. So I think for them to work hard the entire season and then maybe see the fruits of their labor at the end. Because we did make gains this year. I mean, there's things that I seen in them as a coach. From the outside, you might not see it, but I did see gains. But I want them to continue to work hard from when we pre-season in October all the way to February and then see what you get from that.
Okay, thank you.
Are you? Quick question: are you gonna continue to schedule the same? Are you gonna adjust a little bit?
I am. I'm not changing anything. I'm not that coach. I coached with them. When we were like killing everybody, I couldn't get anybody. Now we're kind of down. My phone blows off. And I play them the same way because one thing about me, I'm gonna be the same person when I'm up here and when I'm down. And I teach my girls that you don't run from nobody.
Yes.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny how that works. You know, they say they want to go. We can catch FAMU DRS. They down right now. Hey, coach, you want to get a game? But yeah, like you said,
he said, "I will play you when Jasmine Jones leaves." I'm like, "Well, they don't play me. If you gotta wait till she leave, don't play me then. Don't do that."
I wanted to give you one last opportunity to shout out your alma mater, Miles, the Golden Bears. They in that SIAC championship game, that was an amazing game. They've had a great run this year, but I mean, I think you were at that game, weren't you? Did I see some photos? You were there?
The first round game, they went to Valdosta State, and you guys, it was just. I mean, yeah, I'm a FAMU High alum, so I guess working there, I'm like, okay, but for some reason, coming to that game, and seeing those girls, I'm like, dang, I wore that same number. It was just something to sit right behind the bench and just see them. And they are really good. I mean, they better than we were. Like they were really, really good. But also State just had too much. They were too deep. They could spread the ball around. They can go inside. They can go outside. And they're in the home. They did have a home court advantage. So their crowd was into it. Miles fought, but you could just tell the experience wasn't there in that time of the season. But I still had been there before. But they played good. I was so happy that I was able to come. I met the president, the AD. Some of my teammate was there. Like it was just a good experience. The program is headed in the right direction for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I keep telling people in terms of basketball schools, Miles is up there with other programs in terms of being a basketball school. They have a very good men and women's basketball program at Miles College. So
just gotta get a new.
Yes, yeah, that's on the that has yeah. But that gym boy, I tell you, when he gets going, boy, it's nothing like it. It's hard going in there getting a win. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, that's the truth though. That's definitely true.
Coach, give you a chance to give any shout outs or updates to anything you're doing, any fundraisers or anything that Rattler Nation can do to support the program. I want to give you a chance to kind of maybe pub anything that you got or might be working on.
Well, I mean, I just want to say continue to support us. We're small, but we're big in heart. Our school has a great tradition. Mr. Roger can vouch for that. And, when you give to university, think about the babies down the street because we definitely could use the support and the funds. And just, give another shout out to Chaka Perkins. I've been asked to speak at his service on Saturday. Lord, give me strength for that.
Amen.
So just trying to, gather those things together and stuff and just keep us in prayer. We're just trying to do what we can with what we have. So, and it's all for the children.
What's the avenue that people can go to when they do want to support? Is there a portal link?
Foundation, and they can go under the tab is FAMU DRS Girls Basketball, or if they're local, they can send it to the school. I personally don't take any funds directly. They can just send it to the school and then they'll divvy it out to us. But if they can do the foundation, that's the quickest way I will see it within the program. So FAMU Foundation, it's a tab that says FAMU DRS Girls. And Bryan, add your shirt. Chaka was actually in the process of giving me your shirt, and things happen.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Well, I will wear it with pride when I see you or when I get it. But yeah, I didn't know
he had it still. He was going to give it. So I don't.
I got you. Well, we have to find a way to get. We have to keep that tradition going. We have to find a way to keep that tradition going.
Because I gotta see who I can trust with that. Because he did a really good job with that. So I don't know. I've been thinking about it as well, but I don't want to get into all of that.
Yeah. No, I got you. So again, folks, FAMU Foundation. That's good to know. That's a great. I mean, we're so used to we pub that FAMU Foundation site every week practically. So you guys can what's that code again? Do you know?
Download a number, but they'll see a tab and it says FAMU. You can go through them and they'll see our tab, DRS Girls Basketball, and that's the quickest way that we'll see it. If you go to the school, they got to go through different channels. For the foundation, it'll go right in our account.
All right, we'll see if we can find that. Either Kelvin or Marcus, see if we can find that in the break, and maybe we can drop that in the chat. And you guys out there watching can make, if you want to make a small donation to the girls basketball program over at FAMU DRS. Every dollar helps. Every dollar helps, definitely.
Lastly, what y'all's picks for the national championship for women? Is it South Carolina as well, everybody?
No. I'm going.
Yes.
I'm going
South
away.
Carolina.
I'm going away from South Carolina. South Carolina. I don't know if earlier in the season somebody told me to keep an eye on Colorado. So if I got a real dark horse, and now they got a tough game. They got to take out Iowa first game, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, watch out. If they take out Iowa,
okay, that's different. Okay.
Yeah.
you know, anything can happen. So I won't say no, yes or no.
Yeah.
Hey,
I mean,
basically what she said, you done lost your money.
No, I
but
mean,
look,
you never know.
I got coaches.
I'll
I
say
got
games.
coaches picked. So look, that's my side bracket. You know, my personal thoughts will be over on the side, but I'm gonna roll with coaches picks. You don't get that twisted right there. I got her 4. So
yeah,
what?
I think South Carolina. I think if they don't have any like uh-ohs, they should be okay. I think. I pray that way.
Yeah. All right. See, people already chiming in, already hating on my Colorado. That's all right. You guys will all apologize. I want your tweet when Colorado knocks off the great Caitlin Clark. Y'all just say,
that wouldn't
you got
surprise
another
me.
one right. You got
Now,
another
that
one
could
right.
Yeah.
That could happen.
All right. Just saying.
But I don't know about winning the whole thing, but you never know.
Well, yeah. A long road. One game at a time. One lucky shot in the dark. That's all it takes.
I watch a show when I'm just going through Twitter. I tune in a lot, so I keep informed of what you all are doing, and you're doing a great job.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you. Hey, you be well. We'll keep you and the Perkins family in our prayers going into this weekend. All of the the FAMU and Tallahassee community, definitely keep you all in our thoughts and prayers this weekend. I know it'll be tough. So God bless you. Thank you for taking some time out tonight, and much success. We'll talk soon. I know if I don't see you soon, we'll talk soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Right. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Again, Coach Erica Cromartie, FAMU DRS, aka FAMU High, girls basketball coach. FAMU Foundation. Well, that's great. You can go to the FAMU Foundation and make a donation to the basketball program. Man, that is awesome. We'll have to make sure to put that. We'll put that link out, or at least find that code number. No EA. I'm not. Salome's not even playing. I thought she was pregnant or something. She's not even playing. Anyway, I ain't whatever. All right. We'll see. I'll explain. But anyway, coming up on the other side of the break, let's talk about the men's basketball program. All right. There's a lot to talk about, a lot to unpack. So we got some good info. We'll talk about that on the other side and more. You're watching the O&G StrikeZone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and Instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
All right, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Bryan, Kelvin, Marcus joining you this evening. I'm going to make sure to go ahead and put the the link to the FAMU Foundation page, so that way, if you want to donate to the FAMU DRS girls basketball program, you can do that. Yeah, you know what? Russell Hayes jumped in. Yeah, interesting. You got two USCs in the two number one seeds at that. You got the University of South Carolina and the University of Southern Cal. I tweeted this out the other day. I came across a great little video of Cheryl Miller, she's one of my favorite, like all-time favorite women basketball players, right? And she was in an interview sitting next to Juju Watkins. And if you don't know who that is, super freshman at USC, broke Caitlin Clark's all-time scoring record as a freshman. I think she had like almost a dozen 30-point games this year, which I think was another record she set. But anyway, just kind of hearing old school, new school, and just hearing that conversation between those two, it was pretty cool. So I don't know. I may have to root for USC. Was one of those programs that I dreamed of maybe attending from, my living in Indiana. You're like, hey, if I go anywhere out west, I'll go to USC. Everybody has those dream colleges, but yeah, it was pretty cool. So I don't know. I may have to keep my eye on USC in the next couple of years, but yeah. So hey, before we get into talking about basketball, let's Kelvin, let's go through some of the news surrounding our football program.
Well, the first thing we'll talk about is for those who want to sponsor a ring. The AD mentioned today, and they have it back on the site where you can sponsor one of the championship rings. I think it's only going to be open until the end of business, either Thursday or Friday. But we say we champions. We want to make sure that we help. Make sure that we help out. So you can still sponsor. Go to the athletic website. You still can sponsor the championship rings for a student athlete.
When I went to that site, there are a lot of names still unclaimed. And I'm assuming what you can do here, I'm going to pull up the website here and share it. So that way, those of you who are watching, you can kind of see what I'm referencing. If it pulls up here. We'll see how this works out. All right. Come on. Nothing like the good drama of slow-moving television. There we go. All right. So I believe FAMU athletics.com/ring or rings, I think it is where you can get to it. And you can choose to sponsor, like Kelvin said. You can choose to sponsor. It's got a process. It's $200. Sponsor your name, your business name. But what caught my attention, Kelvin, is this right here. Football player options. Now, the whole idea is to put or sponsor a ring box for a particular player. There's a lot of names still listed here. Some well-known, some maybe not so well-known. So, if you were so inclined to want to donate $200 to the box for Isaiah Major, you can do that. His name is still there. Jalen Glades, right there. A lot of names that you see. Jabari Cassie, Jalen Goss. So it's a great opportunity, uh, to really.
If that's current, Brian.
That's a good point. I don't know if it's current or not.
There's no hyperlinks, so I don't know if anybody's looking and is automatically taking names off the list or not.
Right.
Let's hope so.
And let's say that allegedly she said today they are paid for. I know we're skeptical about things that are said these days, but no, we're told that they are paid for. Allegedly, that's funny.
Which ones though?
Both
sets or just?
I'm on. She's okay. So she has said that both sets, because in total, the rings came out to about $450 per player. They're getting 2 rings. Apparently, the details of the Celebration Bowl ring were a little more challenging in terms of timeline for the producer, the designers of the ring. So those will probably be done or given out in the fall, I imagine. Sometime, I'm sure they'll do it around a home game weekend. But the SWAC championship ones are the ones that will be given out this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the next football news is we have the spring game weekend, and on the athletic site, I don't know if you have the slide or not, Brian, but we have a series of activities for that weekend. I think the biggest thing of note, first of all, is that there is a charge. The game is not free. $15, and tickets are on sale now. If you're a season ticket holder and have the Ticketmaster account, you can go ahead and purchase them online right now. If you're local, you can go to the ticket office and purchase your tickets right now. $15 will be the cost for the spring game, and it starts at 4 p.m. April 13th, Bragg Memorial Stadium. There's no reserved parking. There will be only one side of the stadium open. I believe she changed. I think she said the west side, which would be the press box side, if that's the case. And
keep the sun out of people's face.
And they are looking into tailgating, but it's first come, first served anyway. So I don't know how much that matters. But somebody asked about tailgating spots, so some information may come about that. Now, that same morning, there's coffee with Cozy. So the head ball coach will do some kind of brunch or breakfast at 9:30 at the rec center. And I'm sure that's a fundraiser too. I don't have the information in terms of the cost for that right now, but it'll be at the rec center at 9:30. Coffee with Cozy.
That's cute.
We also have Friday night, the SWAC championship ring reception. That too is will have a cost to it. It's not free. It's Friday night at the Grand Ballroom, April 12th at 7 p.m. And I imagine, they have tickets available.
Yeah,
online.
Yes, tickets. Yeah,
for all 3 events. So
the ring reception looks more like a kind of a black. Given the pricing, $100 to attend, $750 for a table. That's more of probably a black tie, even though it doesn't say black tie, but it's probably your more formal event where they're really looking for sponsors, looking for corporate and groups to really get behind paying for this thing.
Well, it's pretty much similar to the kickoff luncheon that they do in the fall. That's right. Those are the prices for that. So seems like a similar endeavor to offset some of the costs for that. Makes sense. Those tickets, like you say, the tickets for the SWAT Championship ring reception Friday night, $100 for a seat, $750 for a table. Does include food. And in terms of the coffee with Cozy, at 9:30 Saturday morning, continental breakfast is included, and tickets for the event are $35 a piece, and they are available through Ticketmaster online, or you can come in locally to the FAMU ticket office.
Now, there's a question in the chat, and I think I saw something on Twitter about the inventory sale. So I guess the question is, what exactly is that?
The only thing that I know of is that there will be jerseys for sales. Are they game-worn jerseys from older inventory? I imagine it's some of those. But I will get more information, and I'll make sure that I share that at the show next Wednesday.
Okay.
So this is a great fundraising opportunity for the department, for the program. Obviously, there's different. What I find and what I do like is that you got different scales of contributing. Maybe you want to jump in. Like most people will probably do 1 or 2 events, right? I mean, so the question is, if you're able, you might do the reception because that's a donation that you're going to be making. And then you'll probably go to the spring game, or you might be someone that does the coffee with Cozy and then go to the spring game, so you're, and I'm, hell, I mean, I'm all for this. I think this is good.
Agreed.
This is good.
And if you're not going to be in Tallahassee, you're not going to be able to make it, you still can go along. Oh, you can still go online and contribute.
And folks, that's where we have to get to. We have to get there. I mean, we can take issue with the idea. I know some of you I've seen in the chat. You're upset, disgruntled with how. I'm reading a couple of comments here. Kenya here mad at how this was done. Where you could have done a direct campaign to members of Investing in Champions and could have gotten all of these sponsored. Yes, you're 100% correct, Kenya. That is one way that this could have been done. I'm not gonna disagree with you.
Do not put EA comment up. EA, you probably ain't wrong, but we can't put that up.
Wait a minute. I'm not gonna put it. I'm just looking for it though. Hold on. Yeah, man. See, you come on, EA. But yeah, no, I mean, so again, I mean, we gotta get into the point of contributing to this. The $15 for the spring game. I mean, that's a great price. We have to again. We're talking about being. If y'all want to move past being a Division II, operating at a Division II level. Let me say that. That's the way it probably should be said. We've got to do more as supporters. The product is worth paying for. The coaching is worth supporting.
Athletes.
The student athletes, yes. They and eventually we'll do some other things, but we gotta do our part, and and that's why when you do your part, heck yeah, you can raise fuss when you see stuff that you don't like and is done poorly. So that's the trade-off with that. It's not a give without any give and be quiet. No, heck no. It's give, support, and when you see stuff that ain't right, it's incumbent upon you to call it out and let people know that's wrong the way you're doing it. That's not how it should be done. Period.
Agreed. Agreed, and I do agree that I love the fact that they have the pricing already. You can make the purchase already. It's clearly communicated at this point. So, thank you for that. Now, what else is going on? Well, we had our recruiting. We had our running back coach get another title added to his responsibility. He's also the recruiting coordinator. And if anybody been paying attention, our former player from last year is a assistant coordinator, Jordan Moore, out of Texas, and that's what he's focusing on. So so that position is filled. We still don't have we know coach has made recommendations and is going through a process through the university with the D-line coach and the quarterback coach. And I'm not sure. I'm assuming the director of operations, and I'm fairly sure that budget probably is gonna hold some of those up, along with some other things. I know there's another one out there that won't happen until the summer, but that has something to do with the candidate potentially. So coach was hopeful that he could get, his staff in place prior to the spring, but, unfortunately, some of that has not happened, and hopefully we'll go ahead and speed our process up.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And lastly, with football is we've been practicing. They scrimmage on Friday, and this will be, I believe, the
second scrimmage.
Yeah, but I consider it the first and full pass where folks know where they're going and doing. I never pay attention to the first scrimmage. So
yeah, because I was going to say, when was the first scrimmage? Was it before spring break?
That's a good question. It had to be, but I ain't think it was in full pass then. They might have just been in shells, uppers.
Huh.
Yeah.
Quick add to the football before we move on. We did have a couple offers. I think the last one we talked about, it's almost 3 weeks ago, the running back from Reedley Junior College, Conte Kaysen, but came across something on Instagram. Aaron Webb, who is a transfer in the portal from Mississippi Valley, originally from Pattonville High School in St. Louis, Missouri. Apparently, we made his final five. This is about 10 days ago, so I haven't checked back. Between Alabama State, Delta State, Division II, us, Alabama A&M, and North Carolina Central. He's a 6'1", 180 defensive back. I didn't check to see if he made any all-SWAC teams or the accolades yet. We got a commitment from a transfer wide receiver who's coming back to the state of Florida. Played his ball at Columbia Lake City and started at University of Cincinnati. He's class of 2020. Marquez Bell goes 6'1", 175.
All-time leading receiver at Lake City Columbia High School.
So he started out at University of Cincinnati. Then he transferred to Old Dominion. And he is class of 2020 and seemed like he didn't get a lot of playing time at either university. So he should be fresh as long as he comes through in his commitment. So we're building up the wide receiver roster. We did offer, he's a May graduate of Old Dominion, and he jumped in the portal in the first week in January. And we did offer an offensive lineman from Texas, Anthony Crease, goes 6'6", 305, class of 2022. Started out at the University of Texas Perriman Basin. which is Odessa, Texas. I believe they're Division II. Then moved to Navarro Junior College this past year, and we offered him. It looks like he's got a few other offers in the last few days. But an offensive lineman out of Texas. We did have a visit, no commitment yet, by a local player, Dorian Collier. I think he's a running back or athlete. Played at Lincoln a couple years ago. And just I saw an offer that was made. What's today? The 27th to 25th, which would have been Monday. The Brelon Charles, a defensive end linebacker, goes 6'4", 260. Transferring from Navarro College once again, but he played his freshman year, class of 2021 at Lamar University. So that's like the second or third Lamar University or someone with Lamar University ties that we've offered in this recruiting cycle. And that's just for class of 2024. Mm-hmm. We've offered a couple in other classes, but just looking at class of 2024 for this upcoming year. Those are the ones that have been recent. There's a couple others in the class of, I think, 26 and 25.
Talk about the Porter guys real quick. Any updates on any of the football Porter guys?
I haven't been keeping track. I saw General has gotten some traction the last couple of days.
Yeah, I know he's
got some traction.
He's taking like 3 visits to different schools. But in terms of Chain has not signed with anybody yet.
Kind of a cryptic tweet.
There was a tweet yesterday,
right?
Yeah, there was a tweet, but apparently it got yanked. So I don't know what's up with that.
Oh man,
I don't know if it got yanked, if he retweeted it. Because sometimes athletes or people will tweet something and then do a different version, and then the old one's gone. So I haven't checked back, but it showed him. I think it was just an image of him in his FAMU uniform. I don't know if it had a caption or not. So that came out yesterday, and we were like, "Oh, okay. What's up with that?" But we haven't seen, or at least I haven't seen. Of course, haven't been able to give my attention to it like I want to, but I haven't seen anybody else jump in the portal. Not that I'm aware of. Not from a football standpoint. Basketball, there's been a few portal entries. And we can talk about that when we get to the basketball segment.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Ashley says Cordell's waiting until the portal opens. Portal's open now.
Well, and he don't have to because he's a grad.
He's a grad.
Yes.
Yeah. So he jumped in. He already in the portal. I mean, he's already in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if General leaves. I think when we've seen now when you jump in the portal a second time. I mean, this happened with who was
Cromartie Stevens.
Cromartie Stevens. Once you go back in, that's kind of, it just feels like you're really saying, okay, I probably should have stayed in there the first time, but I'm going back in, and this time I'm in for good. And I was like, okay, fine.
There's an interesting person in the portal who's not on the team, who didn't come last time, but he's from Tallahassee. He's played and been an all-SWAC performer. And I'm interested to see what he's gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
And he would be a replacement for one of those guys who own the team in the portal. But
you don't want to get names.
I know the guy Trey Lane, who played at Southern.
Okay.
Yeah, played it. He played here locally. He's a grad student. Got one more year left. When he left the Southern, he went to Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
University of Indiana. Okay. University.
Yeah, I've seen a couple. Okay, so that's the young man that a couple guys. There's been more than a couple guys. Nick Dixon and a few other guys. Like, hey, brother, come home, man.
Come on,
come on. So they.
I'm trying to remember if because one of the Langs, I can't remember which one, because I think there was an older and a younger one, started out University of Buffalo, and I don't know if that's him or if that was. Because there was like 2 of them that were like class of 2019, 2018, been around for a while. And somebody went to University of Buffalo, and I think another one went to USF. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. And I don't remember which one that is. I have to look that up. But it might be Trey, who started at University of Buffalo, went to Southern, went to Indiana, and now maybe looking for a school.
Yeah. Ashley says we have some visits possibly during the spring game weekend. We'll have to look into that. We'll have to reach out to Coach Wyndham now and kind of see what kind of info he can share with us regarding the numbers of people that might be coming in to visit. That'd be a good weekend, I think, maybe for all sports. I think even girls basketball. I mean, given the number of high quality SWAC women's basketball players that are in the portal.
Yes.
I mean, I've seen.
Come on, Alabama A&M.
Hey, look, half that roster is in the portal, including Amaya Simmons, who
That's the one.
Hey,
That's the one.
Shoot it. She can shoot it. I saw Liv had tweeted out a list of the schools that she's heard from, and man, I was scratching my head like, where's FAMU? Where's FAMU? Because I know I tweeted out something saying, Amaya would look great in orange and green, and she actually retweeted it. So I'm kind of like, come on, coach. Let's reach out. And then the big girl from UAPB, Pete, who is a second team, she's 6'6". I mean, look, I trust Coach Gordon. She said people have been hitting her up. So you got a lot of options, but I'm sure she's got to filter through this current roster and kind of say who's a check to keep and who's not. And I would imagine there's probably about maybe 6 girls that she'll probably keep, and maybe the rest that she'll look to try to build on. My guess. I'm just guessing.
And with that, when you want to find homes for those young ladies too, because it helps you with APR if you moving on and you bringing some in. So you want to make sure you get that credit. So you want to make sure those ladies who leaving the program are enrolled at another NCAA program so you can get that credit.
Right, right. Marcus, any other football news, notes, recruiting you want to add before we take a short break and then come into the basketball talk?
No, that's about it for class of 2024. There's a couple I haven't done all my deep dive on them yet for future classes.
Okay. EA, good point. Yeah, EA says we don't have any money to bring recruits for visits for women's basketball. Yeah, EA. If I told you what the numbers were from our campaign of $60, it ain't good from the numbers that were shared with me. But
that last question is a legitimate one. We probably should address it.
Was it?
I do have somewhat of an answer.
Wait a minute. So hold on. Let me put up. Hold on. You want me to put this up there now and answer it, or what? You want to
put it up there? Put it up there.
All right. There we go. The question on the table: was it explained why members of the 2021 team are getting rings at the reception?
I didn't see the whole thing, so I don't know if it was ever addressed. I did know that it came up in that meeting. What I would say is it was supposed to be taken care of, and they were supposed to get them on a previous administration, and that didn't happen. And I keep it right there.
All right.
Oh, this was mentioned at the 220 QB Club?
Somebody asked the question, I think.
These are the rings. Are these the rings that VP Sykes mentioned that had to get paid because they were sitting in a warehouse somewhere and that bill hadn't been paid? So in order to get new rings, you had to pay off. Are those the rings in question? Those are the rings?
Earth?
All right. That's all right. That's what I thought. All right. Let's take a short break. I'm going to take a real short break. We got basketball talk coming up here on the other side. Don't go too far. We'll be back in just a moment. You're watching the O&G StrikeZone right here on the Black College Sports Network.
We're back. It's time for the 2024 Urban NerdCon. Join us in Atlanta, Georgia, April 26th through the 28th at the Cortland Grand Hotel. Special guests include Underworld creator Kevin Grievous, Gary Gray from Fairly Odd Parents. From Nickelodeon, Giovanni Samuels. The Science Machine, Michael Green. The Sci-Fi Sisters. And from Spaceballs and Star Trek Voyager, Tim Russ.
Hi, I'm Tim Russ. Join me April 26th through the 28th at the Cortland Grand Hotel in Atlanta, Georgia for the Urban Nerd Con. Our heroes, our villains, our stories. Everyone con. I'll see you there. Live long and prosper.
Visit theurbannerdcon.net to get your buy one, get one free badges before the price increases. Remember, our heroes, our villains, our stories. Everyone's con. See you there.
All right. Welcome back to the O&G StrikeZone. Bryan, Kelvin, Marcus here. Want to encourage you to hit that thumbs up button or the like button wherever you're watching our show. We appreciate you. Make sure also that hopefully you're already following the O&G StrikeZone on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. There you see it in the top left of the screen at O&G StrikeZone. That's also the YouTube handle. You can go back and watch some of our older segments with some of our coaches. We kind of separate those out from the full live show in case you just want to hear, the comments or the conversation that we have with our great coaches. So we like to clip those and maybe even some of our other discussions that we have. So it's a nice spot to have added to your Rolodex of shows. And hopefully a lot of you guys, hopefully you're podcast listeners as well, because you can listen to our show along with other shows on the Black College Sports Network via the BCSN Pod Zone. Everywhere that you listen to podcasts, download podcast, BCSN Pod Zone. All right. Good stuff. EA said, what about the BCSN 2019 National Championship team? I think those are the rings, aren't they? Those are the rings we're talking about. That was the national championship ring. There's only been one national championship since. Those are the ones, yeah. EA, right there. So, I was trying to figure out how I could get one, since they're just out there. I mean, that's the one I'd like to pay. If I had to pay $200, $300, I'd pay one. I'd pay for that. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. I might be a little biased, but anyway, that one's a little more special. All right, let's talk about FAMU basketball.
Men's basketball.
Men's basketball. Yes, men's basketball. I asked this question earlier. How many FAMU athletic teams have won conference titles?
I'm sorry, the comments give me sometimes.
I saw it, and I peeped down. Damn you, Edwin. Be quiet. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not even going to put that up. Oh, damn, Edwin. You're killing me, bro.
That was a good one.
That was a good one. That might have been the post of the day right there. That one just took my soul right there. How many championship programs, how many teams or programs have won a conference championship since FAMU men's basketball last won a conference title in 2007? Did we do the research on that? Anyone have an idea? Let's go.
Actual regular season conference title?
Any title, conference, regular season, or tournament. Any tournament. Let's go by sport. We can go by sport. I don't care.
Since 2007?
2007. That's the last time that men's basketball won a conference title. and that was the MEAC tournament.
Oh, you heard
on
me.
A late tip-in on a last.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
Against Dell State, wasn't it?
Dell State was the 1 seed.
Was it Bryan Green or something?
Brian Green
Bryan
from
Green.
Jacksonville.
Bryan Green. Yep.
Yeah.
Remember the name.
A late tip-in. That team won 21 games that year. Yeah. Head coach Mike Gillespie. All right, so let's see. Football, they've won at least 2, right? You had
I can't remember how many softball won. I think they had the most.
Softball's won several.
Baseball
won at least
3.
3.
All over the shoot. Yeah, 2.
Golf's even won how many? 1 or 2? 1 we know of for sure. That was 20. That was the last year we were in the MEAC.
The MEAC, right?
Volleyball, we know volleyball's won at least
a lot.
Yeah. Let me see. Women's basketball has probably won a couple. Did they?
Since 2007, we'd have to look.
Yeah, golf's won 2. Yep, thank you.
Actually, women's track won 1 because I think we beat A&T 1 year by like a point or something like that.
No, they actually won multiple under Coach Moore, Darlene.
Coach Moore.
The women, the women did.
Ari says women's basketball has not won a conference title of any sort since 2007. That's interesting.
No, they couldn't get past Howard.
Okay, that explains it.
And they didn't win the tournament.
Yeah. So I mention all that because I just did a search. When we did a search of FAMU coaching history since 1980, 10 coaches have led the men's program. And when you look at the number of conference titles since 1980, there have only been 4. 4. We've made 3 trips to the NCAA and won a tournament game in the NCAA. So only 1 coach of the 10. Yeah, thank you for doing the math there, Edwin. Appreciate you. See, Matt, somebody's ready to do math today. Only 1 coach over that 44-year span had a winning career record. 1. Yeah. That's Willie Booker.
Yep.
From
my time.
Yeah, from my time too. Well, really, my first year. Yeah, from 85 to 93, 9 seasons, 262 games coached, a record of 137 and 125. That's a .523 win percentage, but only 1 conference title. I think that was the 91 squad, DeLon Turner, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Right?
Might have been Reggie Finney. Might have been his last year or so.
Yeah, that was a squad. The 91 squad was a squad right before I got to FAM. Number 2 behind him. Any idea who's number 2 behind him? This should probably be real easy.
Gillespie.
Yeah, Mike Gillespie. From 2002 to 2007, 6 seasons under Mike Gillespie. So Mike Gillespie, the winningest coach this century, right? 02 to 07, in 184 games coached, 90 and 94, .489 win percentage, 2 conference titles, 2 NCAA appearances, and 1 NCAA win. All right.
And I believe he was conference tournament champions. He didn't win conference regular season.
Right. And crazy enough as it is, the 3rd winningest coach over this 44-year period,
McCullum.
Coach McCullum.
Yeah.
200 games coached, 67 and 133 with a .335 win percentage. That's tough. So again, they're Coach McCollum's best season. I don't know if it was the 1920 season where the team went 12-15, 10-6, finished fourth in the MEAC. That was the year before COVID hit. Or it could have been the first year in the SWAC where the team went 13-17, 11-7, fourth in the SWAC. And I guess the one thing that always stuck out to me was McCollum's record in conference play up until these last couple of years was always, right
above 500.
Either at or right above 500. It was either at, the one year where he wasn't was his first year where they went 7-9 in the MEAC. But every other season after that, they were above until these last 2 years. So first question on the table to you guys, what type of program is Florida A&M basketball? Let's start there. What is this program that we have seen over 44 years? Thoughts?
I'm gonna let
Marcus, you want to go first?
Because I might be long-winded on this.
Well, I can't. Basketball is not really my strong suit, but in terms of the investment, and I asked this question it's like, where do we want to be? I mean, is our investment level commensurate with where the fans want to be, and is it commensurate with where the administration wants it to be? And right now, I don't know the numbers, but it seems like outside of the teaching gymnasium, I'm not sure to what degree investment has been made in basketball, and it shows in terms of who we hire, how we hire, why we hire certain people. And so it's not being run as if it could be a revenue generating sport. So, I mean, if you run it like it's not a revenue generating sport, then you're basically like Division III.
Yeah. Well, when you talk about the hires prior to McCollum, we had a string of 3, maybe 4-year one-hit, I can't even say wonders, but 3-year period stints. You had a Byron Samuels for 3 years, Clement Johnson, whose numbers retired in the rafters for 3 years, Eugene Harris for 4 years. You even had before him. Well, let me see. Before him, you had the Mickey Clayton period. So let me see. Am I in right on the timeline? No. Before Harris came after Gillespie. Harris came after Gillespie.
Mm-hmm.
Harris came after Gillespie. So once Gillespie left, I mean, and again, Gillespie's last season was a 21-win season. We hadn't sniffed that since.
Never should have fired him, number one. But, politics got in the way.
No, I thought that was an off the field or off the court.
Oh,
it was. It should have been.
Was it a fireable offense, though? No, probably not.
No. Wasn't no different what the president was doing, actually. Yeah, I said it.
No, the other thing is, and I kept this, I kept a little text file of it. I'm just skipping over that one because I don't know.
Messy, Kelvin. You messy.
Yeah. That at one point there was a USA Today article, and this is way back, that OJ Mayo.
Oh, I remember.
Actually had us in his top 10. And he was talking stuff. Of course, he went to USC for a year. He was one and done. But he actually, said some stuff like, Coach Gillespie or someone in the HBCUs, if they had the same talent, So I was like, and then I was like,
Was that in the Gillespie era when OJ? I'm trying to
see. He was talking about.
Yeah,
he was talking about Gillespie, and apparently there was some kind of, I don't know if there's a relation or connection between Mayo and some of his family and FAMU or something.
He was going to be a one. He was going to be a one and done. There was someone in his circle, in his family circle, that had some relationship with FAMU, and Coach Gillespie, got to remember, came from TCC, and he was a national championship caliber coach. So a lot of coaches at the D1 programs were sending them players, so he had relationships. So he was capable of and had credentials and the credibility in basketball circles to be able to be in the discussion for a player who was a top 5 player in the country. So,
and they had talked about, and I don't want to derail the discussion from current, but OJ Mayo, and there was another guy, I can't remember, there was like 3 of them that were talking about playing together. But OJ Mayo went to Southern Cal, the other one went to Kansas State, and I forgot where the third one went. But yeah, for like 2 weeks over the summer, I think it was summer 2004, it was kind of hyped up. Kind of gave us a respite from the 1A mess, but
hey, look, that was a wonderful time. I mean, that it's not dissimilar to what you see guys doing nowadays, mentioning HBCUs. I mean, that was back when I think they could actually come right out of high school, wasn't it? When in that 03 year, that was before the NCAA put in the 1-year rule. So yeah, OJ Mayo, they could have gone to a college for a year, but you had to be, obviously doing something. And we had a coach that was respected enough and known enough as a winner that I think it wasn't a crazy thought. And I think the MEAC was a better.
It was a crazy thought for a top 10 player back then.
Yeah, well,
back then. Yeah, back then.
You're right. Back then, yeah, you're right. Back then, it was. But the MEAC wasn't a bad basket. The MEAC was actually a very good basketball conference. I mean, of course, you had A&T was still in it. You had Hampton who was in it. Howard. I mean,
Norfolk State, Coppin State.
Coppin State. I mean, you got teams that had knocked off people in the previous decade in the NCAA tournament. So the MEAC was probably further ahead in basketball at that time than the SWAC was.
Yeah. But to answer your question, so
yes.
So I'm gonna answer the question.
Yeah.
I think that you all hinted to us, really it's our mindset about basketball. You name the coaches we had. If you look at those coaches that we hired, how the hiring process happened, the politics, the committees, so to speak, and because they knew a person, but you look at their credentials and look at what they really did or didn't do, their connections within the basketball circle. See, that's the key. In my opinion, for a program like ours, with not a lot of basketball history, we have to have someone with a basketball pedigree that actually has relationships that people will send players to, number one. And the reason they're gonna send players to this person is because they know this person is gonna coach the players, treat them right, and gonna win. We have tend to hire coaches because they know the person who chairing the committee, a specific politician, and it has killed our men's basketball program for the last 20 years plus. It's killed it.
Yep.
Which is why I'm not a big fan of the committee process, and especially with this, because you still have those same influencers around who gonna want to have influence on this one.
Now, question for you, Kelvin. And it kind of puts you on the spot and it's not intentional, but would you be a fan of following the same process we did to get Coach Gordon?
I would be okay with it.
And by that, I mean putting it in AD Sykes' hands. I'm assuming it was put in her hands and she made the pick.
Hey, you hired the lady. You let her do the job. Now, of course, I would, bring it to the right people before it's finalized. But absolutely, to answer your question, I personally would be okay with it.
But the sad part is we know that should she make the decision, she should, but we understand the credibility has been shot because of what happened in January.
I'm gonna say we keep it real here, so I'm finna say something, and I'm finna keep it real. I have more confidence in her than anybody she gonna have on that daggone committee, outside the coach and the player.
Why? Why do you say that?
Because none of those folks know a thing about what to look for in terms of building a basketball program to be a mid-major. See, my vision of FAMU basketball, it's got to be a revenue generator, and not in the sense that we got to set up the field now, because we make them play all them road games against Power 5 schools just to make X amount of dollars, and they don't even get to keep the money within the program. That's to help fund athletics in general. And so they go into the conference season beat up, bad record, no confidence. Got to remember also, up until recently, they didn't have summer school money, so those kids weren't coming in the summer. The way we look at and structure basketball has to change. The mindset has to change. If we're going to be a mid-major, and that's the quickest way to help our budget, by the way, too. But we've got to look at it different and how we invest in it. We got to look at that differently. We still can play some. We got to schedule smarter. Number one, they cannot be on the road against Power 5 schools 10 games. You just can't do it. That's unfair to the student athletes and the coaches. All them bad records is all because of out of conference and what they're forced to do. The second thing I would say in terms of men's basketball is we have to make sure that we pack the pit, and it's a priority. That means people need to know when the games are. All right. You gotta, the concessions probably, to be honest, this year were probably the best they've been in the last 20 years. They were consistent, they were open, they had product. It's two of them instead of one. Our auxiliaries have to be present, man. It frustrates me to no end that we ain't got but like 2-3 home games at max in December and November, and we can't have our auxiliaries there. We can't have a pep band there. So I mean, come on. It adds to the atmosphere. And then we don't do enough packaging with tickets. Like, for instance, the school across the street, they put together 3 or 4 game packages games that people don't, that they know ain't, the kids are out of town, people are not interested. It's gonna be low attendance, and they make it a Leon County school thing or a community thing, and or family pack. But we have to do things to get people to our facility, and when they get there, they got the customer service got to be on point, and then they need to have a nice product. Man, just think if we could just have 5,000 people at every game.
Sure.
What it would do to the budget. And we could play 5 home games out of conference, not just the conference schedule. Yeah. But we got to have people who think this way, who talk this way, who are passionate about this to help the coaches and the players so that they can see more success. And you say, why I got more confidence in the AD versus the committee? This is why. Because anybody who's going to be on that committee, they ain't going to be talking like this.
No.
Has the committee been named? And only just
Tommy Mitchell is heading the committee, according to what she said according to what she said at the 220 Club.
I missed that. I didn't hear that. Okay.
Yes. She said Tommy Mitchell is heading the committee. Yeah, along with other boost DSO former players, current players. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That
Well, maybe don't
that's
be fully. I have to go back and look at 220, and I guess you alluded to it earlier. I guess the residual effect of the football coaching search has kind of impacted the way the basketball search would go or is going. Whereas before, depending, in your opinion, do you think it would have been her call if we hadn't had the whole fiasco with the football search?
If because that's what happened with the women's with Coach Gordon. She went to the search firm. The search firm came up with Bridget. I think the search firm came up with Bridget. I don't know that for a fact, but I think the search firm came up with Gordon or maybe helped do the vetting for Gordon. I don't know how. It's still a little foggy how the whole process with Coach Gordon came to be. And it's no one's ever really asked the whole question to get the whole answer. It's like it's been danced around, but nobody ever got the specific timeline to say, how did Coach A.D. Sykes, how did you get Coach Gordon's name? Who called you? Did someone call you? Did you go to the search firm to get it? So that really has never clearly been explained. I don't know how she did it, but she got it, and it's worked out. We love it. So yes, that's how she was rolling, which is why she probably went the route she went when she did the football search. Okay, I'm trying to understand.
So let me just say this, and I hope this is the case. I hope that would be cover for the decision she makes. Then that would make sense.
Kenya said it right here. The flub with football makes her think she needs a committee, but she doesn't. Well, it may be above her head that someone has told her, Tiffany, it's probably a wise decision to have a committee so that you can sort of stay clean of it. At the end of the day, you still get to make the hire.
That's cool. That's cool, Brian. But can we have some fresh blood on this committee?
Like who?
Can
Kelvin?
we have some different names?
Who do you want, Kelvin? I mean, they're the people who are running DSOs they're the ones giving the money. I mean, who else do you want? Regardless of whether they've gotten it right or wrong, regardless of whether they've been successful in the names that they've chosen.
I mean, if you're going to have committees, just to have names on the committee.
The same names.
Let me put it this way. You just gave a name of about 4 or 5 basketball coaches who had 3-year stints and a 4-year stint.
And losing records.
Horrible records. Never won the conference. Never won the tournament, right?
Never.
So what are we talking about? You've lost the credibility. You done lost credibility. If you've been a part of all them searches on all them committees, and you done make it an F every time.
Well, I will,
but not to run that. But in her defense, and I guess it would sound like a defense, is like she kind of caught in between. It's like, okay, you got burned, you got your wrist slapped for the football thing, so now you're kind of more or less pigeonholed, if you will, into the committee process. And if these same people or the same small group of people who helped or influenced the basketball search before, but that's your only resource because you got directed to do a committee, now you're kind of like.
Well, it goes back to, I guess, my you say what's wrong with basketball. Starts with the process and our mindset toward it. If we repeat what we always have done, we're going to get what we've always gotten, the same results.
Agree.
The one thing that worries me about some of the names is the mindset. And we talked about the mindset. See, when she said in their 220 Club meeting that she may have a vision of what she thinks the men's basketball program needs, then she talks to the assistant coaches. They have a thought. Then she talks to the students, and they have a thought. And while she said some of them may be in synergy, their number one priority is all different. She told everyone, the kids' number one thought is what? Guess what, everybody? Those 3 letters. NIL. And some of you all may be old school and say, oh, there's no NIL money for HBCU kids, or these kids are fooling themselves. They won't ever get. Okay. You keep thinking that, and you're going to see more guys and gals leave. Because guess what? That's what these kids see happening around college athletics. And so that mindset of there's no way that FAMU can have an NIL has to change somewhere. It has to change somewhere. Now, true, the athletic department can't have its hands in it. All they can point you to is to the Rattler Local Exchange. But you know what? Somebody's got to be willing to do some things to promote Rattler Local Exchange. Dr. Lori, and I know she's not in the chat, but I know there she is. There she is. Doc just jumped in. I didn't see her earlier. Someone should be doing an interview with Dr. Lori and ask her about her experience with the 2 student athletes that she did NIL work with. And I guarantee it's so glowing that other people who have small business will say, well, damn, I didn't know it was that easy. I didn't know it was that good of an experience. Let me do that. Right? Since we haven't created a collective yet, okay, and, there's skepticism about the local Rattler Exchange, right? We have to move to that level, because guess what? I mention all that because guess what? If your next coach is someone who's going to come in and say, I don't have anything to do with NIL, we are repeating the same cycle all over again. And we will be stuck in the mud, spinning our wheels at the bottom of the SWAC. Because the game of basketball and college basketball nowadays, if you want to be a successful mid-major, and Marcus, you talked about this, we should probably be thinking like a stepping stone to other programs. Some of these names that we're going to talk about in a moment, these might be stepping stones for them onto bigger things. Look at the coach down in Florida Atlantic, right? I remember 1 year ago after their big tournament run, hearing him talk about, oh, we're doing so many great things at Florida Atlantic, and we've got great NIL, and we're blah, blah, blah. Guess where he ended up? Guess where he ended up going a year later after getting knocked out of the tournament? Michigan.
Florida Gulf Coast.
Yes. That guy went to USC.
Still there. Coaching Bryan.
Junior.
Yeah.
Kennesaw State. Kennesaw State lost their our guy Overton. He lost his coach to USF. Guess what USF has now, which is really churning out some big money? They got NIL Collective. You know why? Because I get a doggone email every week. I don't even know how, but I get an email from USF's Collective. Guess what? He turned that program around in one summer, and they're about to be a pain in everybody's tail in whatever conference they're in.
Because they collect your information, Bryan. I'll tell you how. Because they collect your information whether you bought tickets or you got passes. And so anybody, that's right. So anybody in there, and that's the way all of them do it. Even BCU, I tell you, anywhere where I bought tickets and got passes, those athletic department, they send out mass emails to those people, and that's the way it should be.
And I'll tell you this. I think what people we talked about having an understanding of. I think if you guys are and when you connect in and watch how other schools operate, and Kelvin has said this eloquently, Kelvin is always talking about paying attention to what our neighbors are doing. And we don't have to do exactly that, but even at a scale, even if it's 1/3 of what they're doing, is still significant. Think about, I'm gonna just put a picture in your head, guys. Think about, we had Ariana Grizzle. I mean, she's a great basketball player, easy on the eyes, Canadian,
Great ambassador.
International.
Yeah, great ambassador for the program.
Great ambassador. You imagine, you mean to tell me no one thought about doing a Ariana Grizzle t-shirt, player of the year, half Canadian flag, half Rattler flag, something in the background. You know, even if you sell 500 to 1,000 of those t-shirts and the student gets a portion of that back, that's significant to those kids. That's why you see guys like Jamari Gassett selling t-shirts, why Jalen Glaze is doing donut sales and things like that. They're just telling you to go support them because they get a portion of that back. And no, it's not, they're not doing major ad campaigns like the kids in the Caitlin Clark and all these, but they're doing something within their community. And so that's what they're telling us. And so if we don't listen to our student athletes and then find a coach that's going to merge that in with the great coaching, the community connections, and all the other stuff, spinning the wheels right back into the bottom of the SWAC again.
Well, let's get into the type of coaches and some names, Bryan. But to finish off what you were saying, that's part of changing our mindset, how we look at athletics, in particular men's basketball, because I'm afraid some of the names that we coming out, those folks are used to certain things. And I don't know if our administration is up to the task. If you bring in some of these names you're talking about to be able to deliver. These folks ain't gonna mess around. People with money, with this kind of money, if they truly interested, they ain't gonna mess around with foolishness.
Again, you'll be surprised. There are some names that we're gonna throw out that don't have as good of conditions as what, even as tragic as we make our situation sound, is still better than some other places that these guys are winning at. So that I personally, and I'm going to ask you guys in a second. I think
we got to change the mindset. I'm telling you, administratively, how we budget when they schedule these beatdown games, keeping some within their budget specific for their programs, access to the facility at better times, and not having to come in 6 in the morning. Some of this foolishness got to stop. Basketball has to be the priority. We're making our coaches do too much, and then talking about they ain't winning. I done seen it firsthand. I'm talking from a position of knowledge on this thing now.
Well, yeah, and I hope that if AD Sykes listens to Coach Gordon being your first coach that has a chance of really being successful, if you really, again, the one thing she told us when we talked to her, she knows what winning looks like. She knows what winning sounds like. She knows what winning smells like. If you listen to your coach, now that she's had a full year of seeing how things operate, she will tell you what we have to do to get to be a winning program that we can rival Jackson State in the SWAC. We can rival Norfolk State in the MEAC, North Carolina A&T in the CAA, Howard in the MEAC. You know, she'll tell you. We just got to, like you said, administratively, Sykes is going to have to fight. She's going to have to fight. Yeah. And I know she might be a little wounded. I mean, she looked wounded walking out of that 220 club today, but she stood strong. She stood strong in there. Okay? But there's going to be a fight that she's going to have to go into somebody's administration office, and she's going to have to fight. for FAMU women and men's basketball programs.
She may need to diversify her administrative team too. Everybody can't be your buddy, people who your friends. You need some folks who got some relationships. Yeah, you got to have some folks who have some relationships.
A whole team of yes men and yes women, huh?
And who know how to operate in this environment.
All right, let's go to some things. Let's go to some candidates, because this is, I know, what you guys are interested in. And let's kind of go through some of the names. I think a first set of names are current head coaches. Now, again, these are names that we hear talked about. We know. I'm not saying that these are all confirmed interested, but I think some are, some aren't. But these are names that hopefully should be considered, or at least if it's a search firm that's a part of this, the search firm should be reaching out to these coaches saying, hey, we'd like to gauge your interest in the FAMU men's coaching job. First name out the box. Head coach Chris Wright just took Langston to the national championship of the NAIA. He's taken 2 schools to the NAIA national championship game in the last 3 years. And anybody who watched that game the other night, I mean, that was a heartbreaking way to lose. I mean, they were up 5 with 55 seconds to go. Didn't do a great job of handling the press from that team. They played Hardman or something like that. They ended up losing. But that he had a great team. He has built a team, 30 consecutive 30-win seasons. I mean, 2 years ago, the program had 1 win. He completely rebuilt it. And then he rebuilt it the second year because he lost a lot of guys in rebuilding it the first year. So he has a knack for being able to find guys who might have formerly been D1, maybe JUCO level. And again, I think I've talked to him personally. He's a guy who cares. And he would make a great coach at Florida A&M. Any thoughts on Wright, guys? You want to share anything?
HBCU, successful experience, low resource, successful experience, makes a lot of sense. He's a champion, and he won't be daunted by working with the resources we have. As a matter of fact, he'll probably be happy at first.
Right.
Yeah. At first.
The next name. Now, this one's I don't know how far of a dart at the wall this is, but it may shock some of you. Landon Bussey, currently the head coach at Alcorn State. Couple reasons why we put Landon Bussey in this mix. If you, as someone told me today, Kelvin and Marcus, you have to listen to our AD to get an understanding of what type of people she likes and who she respects. Landon Bussey is a name that she has talked about, tweeted about, and really respects for the way he does things and how he does it. It was also seen at the SWAC tournament. I can confirm this by eyes that shared with me that there was a little exchanging of numbers at the SWAC tournament. Now, say what you want about that, but we're throwing darts at a wall, right? And I also know that the resources that FAMU has might be a little bit better than Alcorn State. I will disagree with you, Demetra, that Bussey can't win the big games. What he has done is won 2 regular season SWAC titles. Maybe because of the attrition. I mean, he coaches hard. Maybe guys gassed out at the end. I don't know. But I firmly believe that, the kind of defense and the pressure that he asks guys to play with and the type of players he asks them to be is transferable. And now I don't know about the recruiting, but I know Landon Bussey as a coach, kind of in that Coach Gordon ilk. Like if you enjoy watching Coach Gordon coach, you'd enjoy watching Coach Landon Bussey. You'd enjoy watching him and his teams play. Any thoughts on that one, guys?
Not gonna spend a whole lot of time on it.
All right.
He wouldn't be A, but I mean he wouldn't be a bad hire at all. I wouldn't be against it.
All right. Next coach. I can't confirm that he's completely interested, but Fred Watson is currently the coach at Miles College, formerly at Benedict College. He also has served as an athletic director over at Miles. He's in his 5th season. He has a 7.786 win percentage at Miles. He's won postseason titles, SIAC titles, Coach of the Year recognition. If you talk about somebody that's ready to move from the Division II level up to Division I, might be Fred Watson.
Got the background. You're looking for head coach experience, HBCU experience. Successful is the key. The only thing I would say about that I would personally, the last check mark for me would be what kind of relationships you have with the AAU circuit or the regional coaches in the high school and JUCOs in Alabama, Georgia, Florida.
Right.
I need to know you can recruit the area. That's the only thing that's missing. But yeah, on paper, it would make sense.
Mm-hmm. Next name. This is a name that had a brief stint at Florida A&M. Gerald Gillian. Currently the head coach at Chicago State University.
Which made a tournament, right?
Well, they
independent. They were independent this year, right?
Yeah, they played in the tournament over in Daytona Beach. But he's been when I kind of let's see, I'm gonna go through sort of a little bit of the history here. Coached at FIU, coached at USF, was supposed to coach at Florida A&M. He actually, before Coach McCullum took the job, Coach Gillian was actually hired as an assistant coach at FAMU in April. And then when McCullum came on board, it didn't last. So he ended up at Tennessee Tech after that. Then was an assistant coach at Samford University before taking over a very bad Chicago State University program, which what he's done there has got people looking at him as the next hot young coach.
Yeah, he did build
it
was a bad program. It was.
Yes. Yeah. He's led them to consecutive double-digit win seasons for the first time in 10 years.
Who did they beat? They had a big win this year too. Out of
Northwestern. They beat Northwestern. Northwestern.
Yeah.
So I mean, they were Chicago. Now that Chicago State is not technically an HBCU, but they are predominantly Black in terms of student population. Right. He was an ESPN Coach of the Week back in December after that team did win that game. He has ties within the grassroots AAU, has strong ties in Florida. Strong. I mean, you go look at his roster at Chicago State. He's got about 7 guys from Florida, and I know 3 of them are dudes. They are ballers. And you know what happens sometimes when coaches leave? Guess where players go? They follow. Would be a great candidate. And he is a coach that, and young, I think he's only 38 years old, too.
Yeah, he's young. He's young.
Okay. Moving off of current head coaches to sort of assistant coaches now. This coach right here is Marco Bourne. He's an assistant coach at Kansas State right now. Also, he was an associate. He was also the associate head coach at Alcorn with, guess who? Landon Bussey. 21 years of coaching experience, including a head coach at the high school and NAIA levels. He was a head coach at Dillard University and Southern University New Orleans, a.k.a. SUNO. And I believe he did win. I know he won at Dillard. I don't know if he won at SUNO. What's the matter?
Yo, boy, trolling you today.
Oh my God, you killing me, Edwin. That's all right. See, you can't do right by some people. But I have it on good authority that Coach Bourne is interested in the job. HBCU ties, interested in the job. How about another name that is also interested in the job? Former NBA guard, Robert Pack. Does the name sound familiar? Robert Pack? Mm-hmm. Yeah, spent about a good 15-year career in the NBA. I remember most notably with the Denver Nuggets, but he had stints with Portland, Denver, Washington, New Jersey, Dallas, and Minnesota, and New Orleans. He got into coaching in the NBA, coaching in New Orleans, the Clippers, Oklahoma City, New Orleans, and Washington. He is currently coaching the basketball. He's coaching in the Basketball Africa League for Rwanda. So there's a guy who knows the game. Pack is 55 years old. Another name. Now, I can't confirm. I don't know if there's any interest here, but this is a name that was thrown out. Corey McCray is the associate head coach at the University of Florida right now. Strong AAU connections, especially in the Atlanta area. This one might be a reach because, you know, when you're in the SEC making ACC assistant money, do you really come down to the HBCU FAMU level? Unless this is a pure stepping stone. And again, stepping stone to get to somewhere else to prove to people, yeah, I can coach. But again, about what I said about the program, if the program is not a stable program, it's hard to draw people in as a stepping stone when it's not stable. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Here's a name very familiar to a lot of people, a local guy. Charlie Ward should be up for consideration, I think. We've talked about this. Charlie reminds me of like the Willie Simmons thing of my whole family has FAMU ties. I ended up going to a PWI, obviously, because it was what it was. But obviously, we know Heisman Trophy winner, didn't play 15 years in the NBA. Mm-hmm. been a successful coach at Florida High, right there in Tallahassee. This would be an interesting hire.
It would be.
This would be an interesting hire because
are we ready? This would be ready? Are we ready type of hire here.
Yes. Yeah. You know, I don't know. Tony said Charlie makes more at FSU High than FAMU getting paid. Jesus, I hope not. That's scary. That's scary. Kenya said, yeah, he's marketable, can push revenue. You know, I don't know if you know, again, now Charlie's been very supportive of NIL components at Florida State. I've seen that. Been a part of supporting collectives at Florida State. Could that be a
yes? And to add, now this is since we don't throw names out there, I could see if he was truly. I don't even know how much he interested. I know he comes on campus from time to time, so I mean it's not like he's not far into the South Side. But if he's interested, I could see potentially a couple of transfers from Power 5 schools come in immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Some of his former players.
One in particular, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Another name that was thrown out, and I guess I could have put him more in the head coaching category, but he's a head coach at a Division II program, a highly successful Division II program, a young guy, Jeremiah Samaripas, a Bartow, Florida native. He currently has an 848 career win percentage, 56-10, which is third across the entire NCAA among all head coaches with at least 2 seasons under their belt in the Division II. He coaches the Lincoln Memorial University Rail Splitters. If you don't know where they're in Tennessee. That school is in Tennessee. Yeah, I mean, again, he's from Bartow. Here's a guy who has strong recruiting ties. LMU, when we talked about Division II programs, there's a strong Division II program with a great history. So their program is set up. They understand that guys aren't going to be there forever. Yeah. So I don't know. There's another name. How about this guy right here? Here's a real popular name. Drew Joyce III. Currently an assistant coach at Duquesne. Duquesne, who just made the NCAA, got a win in the NCAA tournament. Guess what? Duquesne is doing all kinds of things from a basketball perspective. They got a new arena that's being built. They got a coach who may be on his way out. He's been there for like 40-something years. I was reading something in one of the Pittsburgh newspapers, that they believe that he might be up for the running. They feel like it's really an opportunity for him to take over this job, that he's sort of been groomed to take over this job. And just in case the name didn't sound familiar, he's friends with that guy on the left. Matter of fact, I shouldn't say more than friends. How about teammates?
Yeah, more than
high
friends.
School teammates.
Yeah.
I mean, part of the Fab Five that LeBron played with in high school.
Are we ready? That's the other. Are we ready? You bring that person in. We got to operate a lot different than the way we operate. He don't need our money, but he need for us to operate the way he need to operate.
I noticed that LeBron supplied shoes to the Duquesne team prior to either their first round win or their second round win. But again, we're a LeBron school, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that should mean
I
something,
bet
right?
I bet you we're gonna have to be able to practice.
Say that again. I don't know if it's my signal or your signal. Say that again, Kelvin, just in case. Is it?
Whatever time he said, I'm just saying, our mindset got to be different.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. That's the list. That's just some of the names that I've been able to gather over the last 48 hours. Do you guys have any names that weren't mentioned that should be on the list? Marcus, I know Kelvin's figuring out his signal issue.
No. And I'm largely dependent on y'all in terms of, scoping out names and things of that nature. But
I'll throw two more names. Well, I'll throw one more name out, Brian.
Go ahead. Yeah, definitely.
I'm not predicting this, but you got Nickelberry over at Florida State right now. I would not be surprised. Coach? Yeah.
Nickelberry's an assistant coach?
Yes.
Okay.
I would be not surprised if his name ends up in the hat. Been a head coach at a couple of HBCUs. Has a okay overall head coaching record. Has connections with the recruiting circuit. And then there's somebody else that probably on that staff too that doesn't have as many accolades, but has that connection with the AAU circuit and recruiting circuit that is definitely interested. So I know there's a lot of interest from people with different backgrounds, but successful backgrounds. The question is going to be, are we ready? The people that I think most of us are looking at, will a committee see that as reality or feasible?
Mm-hmm. Now, one other question I would ask, and I know we have kind of like a I guess because of Gillespie, there's some history and the names always come up. TCC has had a pretty successful program over the years. I don't know if there's any rumblings about their current coach being under consideration. I mean, it always comes up whenever we have a poor record and the TCC coach, we see their team, whoever it is, going to the junior college Division I playoffs. There's always a question: is TCC a good opportunity to do the same thing we did with Gillespie? Because his name was being bandied about for a couple of seasons before he finally got the job because of what he was doing at TCC.
Yes.
Yeah. And add one more thing, Kelvin. You didn't mention this, but I will. There's a certain individual over at Florida State who's had a hand in selecting a couple of our former coaches. So if you want to lean on the Florida State connection coming over to FAMU to do some coaching, it's very feasible to see one or two of those names pop up on the list. Yeah. So
you brought it up.
I said it. That's right.
Honestly, I didn't even think about it until you brought it up.
Yeah. It's funny you didn't mention. Some other names that I heard talked about are way out of left field names, but I liked it when someone suggested it. Edwin, I know you listen to you tune in and listen to Carlos Brown show. Mike Davis, former Indiana University head coach, former Texas Southern head coach, former Detroit Mercy head coach, had a lot of success at Texas Southern. And they were doing what? They they would run that gauntlet of raising money. Now, the way Texas Southern was doing it is that money would go back in large portion to the basketball program. So when they were playing 13 killer games, and then they would get into SWAC play, and then they beat everybody. That's what was happening there.
Yeah.
But they didn't go into those games.
He was still staffed as a mid-major.
Yeah,
if you looked
and
at
they didn't go into those games
people,
thinking that they wouldn't lose. I mean, they just like this current Texas Southern program now. They don't go into those Power 5 games thinking that we can't compete.
Now let me say this though, Bryan. You excellent to point that out. But from a budget standpoint, we are not the same as Texas Southern.
That's true.
Again, we got to change our mindset with basketball if we want to be on that level.
Right. Last thing I want to leave you guys with, we did the poll. We put a poll out there asking Rattler Nation, if you guys follow us on Twitter, you saw this. Thinking about the next men's basketball coach, what would you like him to have or be? The options were Division I head coach experience, D2/NAIA head coaching experience, D1 assistant coach with head coaching experience, or high school winner with connections. Before I read the results, what do you say, Marcus? What would you like this coach to be?
I want someone who can develop players, and it's going to be not going to be 100% what you say. I don't know if HBCU experience is super critical, high on my list, but I want someone who can develop players and winners.
Okay, but that wasn't one of the four choices, but I like what you're saying there. But I mean, where do you want him to come from? Because I think that matters. I think that matters.
Let me jump in. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I would say HBCU experience because you also have to be able to build winners, but also understand the culture and what you're getting yourself into. You can't come in with eyes wide shut and thinking everything's going to be the same if you come from a place where a lot of things are already laid out for you.
So does HBC, in your mind, does HBCU experience mean, is it the same as having D1 experience, or is it the same as having D2 NAIA experience? Because HBCUs are on all three levels.
A winner's a winner.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm looking at. But I mean, I don't know. And like, say if Chris Wright got it, he's an NAIA, right? But you see, he's a turnaround artist. And my thing is, I don't want to prolong it because it's getting late, but I mean, you and I have been on this thing for 10, 15 years about the launching pad cradle of coaches. So, if you show that you can be a turnaround coach and you can bring in players, implement your program and win, that's going to translate anywhere. So if you translate that to FAMU and hopefully go against any headwinds that have already been embedded in the culture for the last 20 years, then turn the program around, start to win, and launch on to the next thing and make sure the department and the program is set up to receive the next coach so that he or she can be successful in coaching.
Okay. Kelvin.
Jesus Christ.
There we go.
Because you pretty much have to be everything at HBCUs. but on a serious note, and I'm just be frank, if he's serious and he was definitely interested in the job, you would have to go with Joyce III, just because of the LeBron relationship that the school has as well as that he has. It would be stupid not to. and he has enough credentials where you rolling the dice. You don't roll the dice with a lot less. You just named the guys we had previously. So that's probably, if he was truly that interested, you would go that route. But of course, Langston's coach is to me is a no-brainer. Winner's a winner. Charlie is an intriguing choice for me. I think a lot of the lists that we kind of put out there today, they make sense. But for me, just judging where our budget is, our mindset in terms of our administration and so forth, I think it's really important to have that relationship with the AAU circuit, the junior college circuit, folks who can recruit talent, who already have relationships. Don't need the FAMU brand to bring in talent. That just helps them bring in the talent.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody, I'm gonna say it. Somebody who's younger.
Yeah.
If you look at the ages of the coaches we done hired the last 5 times out,
over 50.
Pushing
no
60.
shade. I mean, no shade because we love our 50-year-olds, but
yeah, but yeah, I'm looking for a little younger, hungry hire at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I like that last word.
And crafting it, just like I said, like we talked about before. If you're going to craft it as a Cradler Coaches launching pad as a mid-major,
yeah,
and fashion it that way that, hey, we know we might be able to keep you 2 or 3 years, build the program, make it successful, and we'll promote you. Or, when you go to the next big job, it reflects good on us. Get a young coach who can relate to the players, who's shown the capability to develop and scout talent and win.
47% of the people in the poll said they wanted someone with D1 head coaching experience. Second was 23% Division I assistant coach with head coaching experience.
Well, McCullum had that. Byron Samuels had that.
Hey, didn't what did Eugene Harris have?
He had never been a head coach at that level.
Okay.
He was just on staff.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. So hey, we've gone that direction with the last 2 hires. EA said so from NEIA to D1 playing P5, he will be a winner. Wow. When you say again, what I tell you, EA, we're just wearing a D1 suit. We're not really a D1 pro. We're not I don't know what you envision FAMU basketball to be. We're not a true Division I program. We're just wearing a D1 suit. We don't spend money.
And
Oakland University.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Didn't we lose to Albany State? That's
year? Why I said we are a division.
What are we talking about, people? That's why you got to guard about. You got to guard against who on this damn committee.
Yes.
And it was Clement who came from Alaska Anchorage. He had been a head coach too.
Yeah.
Being a head coach at D1 level don't mean nothing if you weren't a winner. None of those guys were winners. A winner is a winner. I stand on that.
You know what winning looks like. You smell. You know what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it smells like. That's it, and that translates. That carries over. And when we are just wearing the suit of a Division I program, but operating again, I'll say this and I'll say it for the last time. The school Oakland University out of Detroit, Michigan, who defeated Kentucky.
They made, talk about it.
Hey, they $2.3 million basketball budget alone, but the overall budget of the athletic department with 19 sports, no football, was $17 million. Let that sink in for a second. Basketball was 2.3 of a $17 million athletic budget. And we upset at our AD for trying to balance an $8.9 million budget. Come on, man. Stop it. Stop it. So when I say we're a division, we're operating like a D2 NAIA, yeah, that's about what we're at until it changes. Until it changes. All right. Any final notes? Any last words or anything you want to get in, Marcus, before we close the show?
No, I'm good.
Anything or anybody you want to shout out, Kelvin, here before we shut it down?
Just want to say, shout out to tennis. They beat Southern over the weekend.
Yep.
And also track had a couple of good performances. DeRozier doing his thing again. So
4x1 women's won at the FSU relay.
Yeah. So a lot of our coaches and our teams are very competitive and doing really good things. And so we need to continue to support them both financially and with our presence. And then we got to continue to push our AD, our administration, and our president and our leadership. We got to push them. We got to have this athletic capital campaign. We appreciate Eddie Jackson and the $1 million campaign that they launching.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to have our administration, our inside folks to do that. We got to get this thing straight with our people who, live here or whoever we're gonna do business with to do our marketing and our inventory. We gotta have professionals, man. People who go get it.
Go getters.
Bottom line.
Go getters. That's what we need. Hopefully, if you guys are in town this weekend in Tallahassee, or you're going to be in Tallahassee, those of you in Tallahassee, get over to the baseball complex. More Kittles. Even though we dropped two of three against Bethune, the team is still 4-2 in conference play, third place. We host Jackson State this weekend, so this is a good important series.
Yeah,
we need to win this series against Jackson State.
Jackson State is like 17-6.
Yes, they have a very good overall record. I think they are first place. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Jackson State's first place, unbeaten, 5-0 in SWAC play. So this is a real important series for baseball.
Softball got a big series too.
Yeah, softball is in Daytona Beach again, Friday night for 1, Saturday noon and 2 o'clock against battle for first place. 2 8-1 teams tied for first place. Somebody's going to be standing alone in first after this weekend. So plenty of great action on the diamond. I don't think, let me see. I know I put it in there. Golf is off. Tennis. I think tennis has a match this weekend too. I think that's against Bethune as well, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just thinking of the schedule off the top of my head, but I think they have Bethune. I don't know where it's at though. So double check FAMUathletics.com. If you haven't downloaded the FAMU Athletics app, go do that. That's real important. Real important that you go do that. And one final, let me see. I had it up. Go check out did I post that link to the FAMU DRS? Did I post that in the chat room?
I didn't see it.
All right, I'm gonna post that in here real quick for you guys to go support. if you want to give a small donation, any donation that you can to support the FAMU girls basketball program over at FAMU DRS, you can do so. I'm going to post the link here. It's the FAMU Foundation. So all you go to the FAMU Foundation and you just scroll down and you'll see FAMU DRS girls basketball. Make a donation. We really got to step our donation game up, folks. Again, I saw the numbers from the women's basketball $60 campaign, very short of what could have been. Very short. But you can still give. You can still donate to the girls basketball program in any denomination, especially some of you, if you're getting your tax money. If you're getting tax money, go ahead and put in some donations now. Go support these programs. Again, we have to start doing more with more. And so that starts with us.
Tennis is at home against Bethune at 2 p.m. And
All right.
track is in Gainesville at the Pepsi Relays.
All right. So that's a lot of places that our Rattlers are at. So if you get a chance to go support, you can. I know some things you can watch online. Like I know the tennis is streaming to YouTube streaming on FAMU Athletics YouTube. Hopefully Rattlers Plus will be working and you can watch the baseball series. I don't know if Bethune is streaming softball. So that's up in the air. We'll have to kind of keep you posted on that. But go download that FAMU Athletics website. You can't go wrong if you subscribe there. All right, that's going to do it for tonight's show. Thank you to everybody in the chat room. If you got any questions, you want to send us an email, you can always reach us, O&G StrikeZone at gmail.com. There's our Twitter handles as well. Our X handles. You can always hit us up on X. Make sure you're following the show at O&G StrikeZone, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Go download the BCSN Pod Zone, every podcast platform that you use. Thank you to Coach Erica Cromartie for joining us earlier. And for the guys, for Marcus, Kelvin, I'm Bryan. Appreciate you guys. Things up. Strike hard, strike fast, strike often. Peace out, everybody. Have a blessed Easter weekend.
Yes.
And we'll see you next
Wear
Wednesday.
your most colorful suit. Pink, purple, red. You know how we do.
Big hats. Ladies, big hats. Big hats as well.
And gators.
And gators. All right, y'all. Be well. Peace out, everybody.